And welcome everyone to another Smart Money Circle show. I'm Adam SArhan. With me today is Frank O'Donnell, who's the co-founder and senior advisor at Telomir Pharmaceuticals, ticker symbol TELO, who's actually doing something very interesting that impacts every single person on the planet and their age and longevity. So, Frank, welcome to the Smart Money Circle, and thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
Well, thank you, Adam. It's a pleasure. So my background is I trained as a physician at Johns Hopkins. My specialty was ophthalmology. You say, well, what's ophthalmology got to do with the topic today?
Yeah.
Well, the most common and significant age-related disorder is macular degeneration. With macular degeneration, there is no cure. 85% of the patients end up legally blind. So that's the origins of my interest in developing a technology that would actually reverse aging, not prolong longevity, but actually reverse aging. And we're the only company that has developed a drug that stimulates an enzyme called telomerase. Telomerase makes the telomeres, and the telomeres are the things that protect the insides of the chromosomes from external assault, viruses, heavy metals, things like that. Now, when you're born, you have about 5,000, 8,000 telomeres in each of your stem cells, but you spend those down. Every time a stem cell divides, you lose a telomere. So by the time you get to be my age, I'm 75, you only have about 300 or so telomeres. I want to show you, can we share the slides?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let me see if I can get that.
All right.
So Adam, as I was saying, the telomeres are important in determining your biologic age. So you have your chronologic age, your birthdays,
Yep.
but what's really important is your biologic age. And you start off with 5,000, 8,000 of these telomeres protecting your chromosomes at birth. But as time goes on, you lose telomeres every time there is a division of the chromosome. So about my age, your telomere count goes down pretty far. I'm 75. So the telomere count is about 300, down to 300. Now, this is from a tissue culture of human stem cells derived from blood, and it's about 300. When we use our drug, Telomir 1, we increase the telomere count over 3,000.
Oh, wow.
That's never been done before.
Wow.
And I'm going to explain all the implications, things that we didn't anticipate. So when you increase the telomere count that dramatically, there's only one way to do that, and that's to stimulate the enzyme, the only enzyme that makes telomeres, and that's telomerase. No one's ever been able to figure out a way to stimulate pharmacologically the production of telomeres from telomerase. It is true that we've known for years that a healthy lifestyle, good sleep, low stress, etc., did modestly increase your telomeres, but we're talking 4 or 5%, not a 10-fold increase.
Right.
When we did our studies and we found a 10-fold increase in the telomere count, things happened that we didn't anticipate. And one of the things, and this is the most critical message of today, you're able to reverse aging and age-related diseases when you increase the telomere count from your chronological age to your biologic age. So if you're 60 and you increase your telomere count from 300 to 3,000, some strange things happen. One of the strange things, wonderful things that happens is that you're able to reverse aging. You say, Frank, that's a bold proposition.
Wow. Yeah,
and what proof do you have of that? And I'm going to show it to you right now. I'm not going to drag you through all these slides, but this is a good one. Cis mouse on the left-hand side.
Yes.
He's obviously an elderly mouse. He's lost subcutaneous tissue. He doesn't look very active, etc. And after 10 days of telomere, this is that same mouse.
Oh, wow.
And Adam, if I stop the drug, within about a month or two, he reverts back to this. If I start the drug in about 10 days or so, he reverts back to this.
Wow.
So we know it's the telomere that is causing this production of telomeres by telomerase, the enzyme. I've got the next one is even more dramatic because it shows the functional effects. So here's an aged mouse on the right-hand side. He's got an arthritic limb, left foreleg. You can see he's having a hard time walking straight.
Yeah.
Walks in circles. Okay. And then if you look over here, this is that same mouse 10 days later. You won't believe this. 10 days later. And look at his activity. Not only does he look young,
wow,
he acts young. He's interacting with his environment. He's energetic. He's a healthy mouse. And we've done this at least 40 times, on mouse. Now, you could say, well, this is all exciting, Frank, but it's preclinical, right? Yes, it is preclinical. We did a small IPO. We had funded $13 million in development expense ourselves. We figured what else did we need to finish off the pre-IND work so you could start on human clinical trials? And it's about $7 million, which is what we raised. So there's not a big float. There's only about 1 million shares in the float.
right.
Just didn't see any need to dilute the company. But I also want to show you something that we just discovered on Friday of last week. And that's the question of, will this apply to older, larger animals? Okay, so let me see if I can tee this up.
As you pulled it up, Frank, I'm going to ask you a question. You said you did it 40 times with the mice. Was it the same mouse 40 different times or 40 different mice?
No, 40 different mice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and some of the work was done at Johns Hopkins.
Oh, wow.
So I want to share the screen and let's see if I can.
Okay.
So this is taking the technology from a small mammal stage to a large animal, a dog. This is a German Shepherd dog. He's about 12 years old. He was very sick. He had some age-related problems. And we, through compassionate use, were able to give him telomere. And if I can get this to share right, so you may have to pause so I can do this. But remember how this dog looks now.
Okay.
And after one dose of telomere, he totally changed. So
all right, now we got it.
So this dog was flatlined 4 times.
Wow.
The vets said that there was just no way he was going to survive. They were just going to let him, just put him down. Because of telomere, he was able to access that, and it made a huge difference within a matter of a day or so. He not only looks younger, but he acts younger. It's a really dramatic illustration of the power of this drug. So this is an N of 1, right? And this was a compassionate use. We are doing a formal dog study at a veterinary CRO, which will have 12 large breed dogs like German Shepherds, aged, that have age-related problems like arthritis. They often get osteoarthritis. And we'll also do 12 controls, placebo controls. But this was a compassionate use. The owner of this dog loved this dog. We all love our dogs.
Right.
I'm not a cat person myself, but I love dogs.
Neither am I.
And yeah, and but he's our first example of being able to show that this technology that you saw that worked so dramatically on the mice actually works on a large animal, a dog. I think the next step is when we finish, and the inflection point for the company, well, when we finish the dog study this summer, we'll be prepared to start our IND on humans in January of 2025.
That's
So we're excited. We
yeah,
feel like no matter how you slice it, this is the single most important drug discovery ever. It's if you say, well, what is the drug? The drug is a synthetic alkaloid that stimulates the enzyme telomerase that makes telomeres. And it's a profound effect. So if you make a few telomeres, you can extend longevity a little bit, right?
Mhm.
Maybe 4 or 5%. But when you take the telomere count up to like a tenfold, the dog's biology changes. It's like the
Wow.
dog biologically is now half its age. I
Wow.
mean, that's how dramatic it is. Now we're still learning a lot about this technology, but I can say that it's the most exciting thing that we've ever come across. And we focus on disruptive technologies. And this takes the cake. Everybody, the implications, Adam, are just humongous. And I don't think we've sorted them all out. Yeah, it's not only going to be possible to live to be 140 or 150 potentially as an adult, as a human, but have the biology of somebody that's 70 or 65. But it also means that things like healthcare, the budget, most of our federal budget, more so than even defense, goes towards healthcare.
Right.
What it means for retirement ages and planning and couples and everything else, relationships. It's hard to wrap your head all around it. All we know is the genie's out of the bottle. We know that there's a way to reverse aging. And along with reverse aging, you're reversing age-related diseases. So like osteoarthritis, as we get older, we run out of cartilage if you're a runner or a biker, and there is no replacement except a prosthesis, an artificial hip, an artificial knee. But here, there's an example where we think that not only will we reverse the age of the dog, but we'll rejuvenate the ability of the synovial tissue to generate new cartilage, new chondrocytes, and make those dogs functional once again.
Wow. Love it. Absolutely love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, so do we. I mean, and I got to tell you, Adam, I'm from Missouri. It's the show me state. I was skeptical. I really was. I had to see it work in the mice a lot of times before I finally bought in. And this is only an N of one, so I don't want to put too much value on it. But the fact is, this was dramatic. This dog flatlined 4 times and then was brought back and given telomere. And to this day, 12 days after all of this happened, he's a happy, healthy, energetic dog.
I love it. Well, Frank, that's an absolutely fantastic overview about the company and about yourself. You have a remarkable story. On a personal level, I can't wait for this to go through and work. So I'm rooting for you big time.
Thank you. Me too.
I always like to shift the conversation at this stage to some timeless lessons. And let's talk about risk. How do you handle risk? And what are some mistakes you see people make with respect to risk management?
It's a good question, Adam. And I think basically the way we saw it going into this is that we knew that people don't have an affinity for mice, but we knew that if there was a veterinary application to the technology, even if it didn't work in humans, if it worked in veterinary space, it would be an incredibly valuable company.
Yes.
Because we love our dogs, and there are 40 million of them in the US. And I tell people, tongue in cheek, I say, look, if given the choice between putting grandma in a Medicaid nursing home and paying $10,000 for an artificial hip for your dog, grandma's going to go in that Medicaid nursing home, unfortunately. So, so we're excited about it. We feel like, well, at this stage, we just want to make people aware of the technology. We're not trying to sell stock. We're not trying to raise capital. We just want to make them aware of the technology. And our chief scientific advisor is somebody who was very, very prolific. Michael Roizen. He's got 5 New York Times bestsellers. He's been focused on longevity, and he's our senior advisor, and this blows him away.
Love it.
Blows him away.
Love it.
Because the longevity community was focused on trying to extend healthy living by a few years.
Mhm.
This says, no, you can be old and have age-related disease, and we can treat you and reverse that aging and reverse that age-related disease. That's
Love
what we're after. That's what we
it.
want to do.
Yeah, understood.
But
So from a risk standpoint, just to make sure I understand going into this, you said even if it doesn't work for humans, well, let's find a veterinary application, and
yeah,
even that the stock could be, or even the company could be tremendously successful. So from a risk standpoint, if I understand the answer properly, it's you want to make sure that if one outcome doesn't actually happen, the other outcome could happen, and they're both very successful.
yes,
Yep.
yes,
Wonderful. How
yes.
about some timeless lessons, Frank, you've learned along the way that you'd like to share with the audience about life, about business, or any direction you want to go?
Well, I think one thing I'll say is that interacting with the FDA on multiple different products, the FDA likes objective evidence, number one. And number two, the FDA is going to be, they're going to want to have, they won't consider aging a disease, is what I'm trying to say. They'll
Okay.
say aging is not a disease. But if you take these elderly dogs that have osteoarthritis and you reverse the osteoarthritis and they obviously have regained a youthful appearance, etc., I think that this is a situation where there'll be I think a change of attitude on the part of the FDA. Now when you're working on the veterinary side of the FDA is a lot more, it's just more flexible. And it's not because they don't put any value on animals. They do, obviously, they love them, but they recognize that it's not the same situation as exposing humans to drugs.
Got it.
So I think we'll have an approval for at least veterinary applications, hopefully within a year. The human clinical trials will begin in January of next year. We'll obviously, prior to that, raise some additional capital.
Mhm.
But I think the endpoints will be an improvement in function in their knee function with osteoarthritis. But the reality is there'll also be a dramatic change in their entire mental status. I mean, it's going to affect their cognitive abilities. It's going to affect their motor capabilities. It's going to have a systemic effect. It won't be limited just to the external appearance. They'll have stronger hearts, better kidneys, you name it.
Love it. So, lessons is when you want to go do something, make sure you have clear, objective evidence and data to support your case, not just, hey, I feel like doing XYZ, and that'll help you get
Yes.
across the line, the finish line, whatever the case may be, whether it's the FDA or it's a partner or it's whatever the case may be. I love that. So, final question for you, Frank, and then we can wrap up, was what's the best piece of advice you'd like to share with the audience or give your 30-year-old self?
I think what I would say is that if you think about things that are irreplaceable,
Mhm.
um, time, time is irreplaceable.
Right.
It's irreplaceable. That's why people like jets.
Yes.
If you have enough money, you like to get on your Gulfstream and go someplace because you save time. But time is the one thing that's can't be replaced, or at least until now can't be replaced. But we
Mhm.
think that this will give people a chance to um, basically turn back the clock of time. And if they realize that they've missed opportunities to enjoy life or et cetera, I think this will give them that opportunity.
I love that. So, I think Warren Buffett had the great line. He said, I can buy whatever I want, but I can't buy more time,
That's right.
which is
Keep by more
great.
time.
Speaks to your
But
point. Yeah,
here, I I think we're going to be able to buy more time.
I'll
But
keep
it is a
on.
complex issue. It has a lot of socioeconomic implications. But I can say this, that uh, the experience with the mice it just blew us away. We just could not believe that these old mice, within days of receiving this drug,
Mhm.
were acting like young. They looked young. They acted like young mice. And we now have at least an N of 1 on a dog, a German Shepherd.
Nice. Beautiful. Well, I wish you nothing but the best success. Ticker symbol is TELO for everybody watching. Frank, thank you so much for taking the time to speak today, and hopefully we'll have you on again soon. This was fantastic.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.